I'm in Vienna in a Veyron, and I don't know where I'm going. How much does that car owe me? Who can I sell it to?
To you, it's just business.
Complete business. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. No one knows where I am, by the way. Only my assistant. God, I could get done in here, I could go missing.
Experienced people from different levels of wealth.
And you've got to be willing to do what the next man won't do. Most successful people that I know, they're failures. Good things come to those who wait. I don't believe in that. Success doesn't come to you. You have to go and get it.
Carl, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Finally, good to have you on the podcast, man.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You've been knocking on the door for quite a while. I'm so busy all the time, and you got there though with persistence. Well
Persistence takes it, man. Let me start off by saying this. I think some of the best podcasts that I do are from people that I know, the journeys that I follow their businesses. I know exactly what they do. And being a petrol head is natural for me to know exactly about Tom Hartley, yourself, and exactly what you guys do and the plethora of cars that you guys have, right? But for people who don't know you and are watching this podcast for the first time, stumbling across Carl Hartley, what exactly is it that you do and what do you specialize in?
Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe and set the bell notification to all so you never miss a single episode.
We, myself and my father, specialize in buying and selling the world's most elite luxury performance, classic and hypercars.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's a good way to put it, but I mean, supercars, I could buy 2 old Gen Galados for 70 grand each, but you're none of that. I mean, you're talking about Pagani Huayra, I can't even remember the cars off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, we range from our cars. There's sort of 3 sectors in our business. There's this sector which is super SUVs and sports cars, which start from 100 grand to 200, and then you start getting into the supercar category, which is from 250 to 750. And then you go to the hypercar category, which is $1 million up to 10.
Yeah, really.
On the back of that, you have your our classic side of the business, investment cars, which a lot of modern cars now are investment cars also.
Yeah.
But the classic side of the business can range from once again a £150,000 classic car up to 20 million.
Would you say there's such thing as modern day classic cars?
Of course.
I'd look at the Speciale, 458 Speciale, and be like, in 30 years' time, that's going to be seen as the way we look at a 250 GTO or something like that.
Well, maybe quite not as exaggerated as that, but that car in particular, the 458 Speciale, is certainly, well, it's not a future classic. It's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's already, I think the car won Engine of the Year sort of 3 years in a row.
458, yeah.
It's the last limited production rear engine naturally aspirated V8 Ferrari.
Yeah.
That's exactly what people want. They want a naturally aspirated V8 rear engined limited edition Ferrari.
And that's exactly what you specialize in, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, and that car is such a good car. I mean, it's fantastic. And they're getting to the point now they're creeping up towards £500,000 between 350 and 450.
And those are the coupes, right?
Those are the coupes. The Apertas, which are the convertibles, well, they're 750.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy figures.
And these cars, they were 200 to 250 for a long time, and 200 to 250 in this market, in today's, how much a pound is worth today, doesn't get you a lot of supercar.
No, not much.
About gets you a supercar.
Yeah, just about. I mean, you'd be looking at, are we talking about new cars, used cars?
Yeah, I'm talking about new cars.
Yeah, new cars. I don't really think of there's anything, because even the new Revelto Lamborghini that's just released, that's going to come in around 550, I want to say.
With no spec.
With no spec.
It wouldn't be hard to throw 100 grams worth of extras on one of those.
Yeah, I know. So you're looking at 650 to 700, which would be absolutely...
Which I think that's going to set the mark for the new supercar pricing.
Yeah.
Ferrari tried it with the SF90. They were coming in at $500,000. They didn't do very well at $500,000. They done great at 350.
Yep.
They done so good at 350. They're now 400. So they're getting back up there.
What was it? Because the price was lower at 350. Now the demand had built up, so then the price has gone up as well.
People looked at that car and thought, for 500,000. I mean, I'm talking about coupes here, not spiders.
Yep.
Spiders do incredibly well.
Yep.
And the coupes do well used. But people looked at that car, 500,000, and thought, $500,000. No. And then they looked at the car at 350 and they're like, 350? Yeah, I'll have one of those.
Yeah, I have one of them. Yeah, why not? Yeah, go on then. I'll take a bargain.
Exactly.
Carl, so this is your 50th year at Tom Hartley, right?
50th year.
50 year, which is absolutely crazy. And we'll dive into your story in a second. But in the whole 50 years of the dealership, what's the most expensive car that you've sold?
I was asked this question recently on another podcast that I'd done with a guy called Rob Moore.
Yep.
Do you know Rob?
Yep. Not personally, but I've seen stuff online.
He's a great guy. I've done a few with him, and I'm going to give you a really boring answer here and say that I can't disclose what the car was. I can't disclose an exact figure because it was contracted when the deal was done, but it was well into the tens of millions.
Okay, so then what I will ask you off the back of that then is, how come sales like that are then contracted almost like NDAs that you can't say anything?
Well, because the buyer is obviously buying a super, 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 super rare car. In this instance, it was one of less than 3.
Okay, yeah.
And it's, everyone's got a camera phone these days. The internet's a funny thing where you can find out everything from everybody. And these people don't want to disclose that they've just paid, a absurd amount for a car, because they could have 2,000 employees that all want to raise tomorrow, and they say, no, I'm sorry, things are tight. Oh, but you've just given
yourself X amount,
on one car. You read about it on the internet.
Yeah.
So, it's for things like that, and it's also for resale. That car comes back up in 10 years.
If you release the price, someone then...
it sometimes it helps the car, sometimes it doesn't, but it's just what the customer prefers. People like to be discreet.
Yeah.
You get to a certain level where, and I find this in different sectors of my business, where someone buys their first supercar and it's all over Instagram.
Yeah.
It's they want me to do a post to show them buying the car, how much they paid for the car, and and fair play to them. That's
I suppose if they're not used to that experience,
that's a sense of achievement, and and I support that 100%. But then you get to the higher levels, and people are like, I don't want any press, I don't want anyone to know I've got this car. I won't drive the car. The car won't see the light of day. It's just, I don't want anyone to know. I just want to put it in the garage with the rest of the 20 of them that I have, and just enjoy owning it, and no one know that I've got it.
Yeah, tell me this then, yeah. So, in that sense there, obviously you're a businessman at the end of the day, yeah, and petrol heads, they get upset when they say cars are just stuck in the garage, yeah. Be honest with me, does it upset you? It doesn't bother you or anything, or?
What someone does with their personal belonging is none of my business.
Yeah, entirely up to them.
I can have my thoughts on what I would do, and there's certain cars change what I would do depending on what they are.
Yeah.
I had a Bugatti Veyron that I used pretty much daily when I owned it, because you could. If I had a Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing, a 1955, one of my favorite cars, you can't use that every day. You can't use that once a week.
Yeah, is that just because it's unusable, or it's just because it's a different level of value?
I just think it's the case of, it's a piece of art. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing, number one. So I would personally get enjoyment out of just looking at that car.
Oh, yeah.
And number two, it's 1955. It's old.
Yeah.
It's got drum brakes, no air conditioning, no power steering. I mean, the thing is, it's a pig.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur pretty much.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I was watching I think it was Rob's or maybe Lewis's podcast, where you obviously you had a Bugatti, and I think you said you've done 20,000 miles in it. 16,000 miles, close to 20. 16,000 miles in the space of how long?
For 3 years, three and a half years.
Still crazy to put 16,000 miles.
Well, somebody who's looking at this or watching this will say, "Oh God, I've done 16,000 miles in my car in the last 8 months," but it's not a Veyron.
Yeah, it's not.
And also I don't commute to work. As you can see, I live here.
You live here, yeah.
So the mileage that I do in a car is purely for pleasure or for business. I'm not taking a Veyron to go and buy a Ferrari 458 from you. I'm not going to go and see you in my Veyron,
Do you feel like
that would give me a terrible negotiating stance?
Yeah.
You know?
What would you turn up in? Ford Fiesta.
Well, I've always driven Volkswagen Golfs.
Yeah.
And now I drive a Land Rover Defender.
Solid cars.
Yeah, great car. And look, they do the job for me, and I don't need to drive a Lamborghini every day. But what I used to do still do with my personal cars is, if I'm going somewhere, to the gym, to a restaurant, to meet some friends, I just
Take that.
take that. That was my car. That was what I took. Things have changed a bit now because I've got 3 kids.
Yep.
And I always feel bad, like with the Pagani, I try and take it in turns which one I take out if we go somewhere, and they're always crying. So
do you know what you need to get then? Koenigsegg Gemera.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
I think that's your solution.
Christian
right there.
Koenigsegg
He
has
made
been
that
on
for
to
you.
me.
Yeah.
but
He thought of you.
but there's only 4 seats, so I need 5. I need 5 seats unless I leave my wife, which I might do.
Look, what I was going to ask you about the Bugatti there as well, right? What is actually considered high mileage for a Bugatti?
Well, I bought one yesterday
Yep.
that I'm collecting tomorrow.
Which one did you buy?
A Veyron.
Okay.
And it's a 2007. Really good car. People, when this comes out, it'll probably be on my website so they can see it.
Yep.
That's done 19,500 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Now that will be as high of mileage Veyron that I've had, but it's not a high mileage Veyron because that car is 16 years old.
That's crazy when you think about it.
16 years old, 19,000 miles.
Yeah.
1,150 miles a year.
Yeah, that's nothing.
It's nothing. It's underused. I done 16,000 miles in 3 years. So, but what's considered high mileage? You know what? I think with those cars, well, I know from experience, with those cars, the more they're used and maintained, the better they are.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. I didn't have any problems. Nothing go wrong.
I thought it would have been the complete opposite way around. The less you use it, obviously, because you're not pushing it as hard or anything like that.
No, with those cars, they've got to be used. They have to have a few miles on them.
Okay.
2 reasons. Number one, it gives the buyer confidence in the car that it works because it's done miles.
Yep.
And it's hard for somebody to do 1,000 miles in 5 years and have 3, 4, 5 services.
Yeah.
They think, I've only done 1,000 miles, I'll just service it. So then all of a sudden you get a 5-year gap in the service history, which doesn't help the car.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So yeah, on a car like that, my opinion is just use it, get it out. They're incredible.
So enjoy it, yeah. You
Enjoy
bought
it
for a reason. Enjoy it.
Yeah, they're the most over-engineered car
Ever.
in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I think the statement was that I think Volkswagen are losing 5 million per car when they made them, right? Or
It was a good tax write-off, wasn't it?
yeah. Well, so if that's what they wanted to do, then they've done it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We either give the tax man,
Their
400 million,
What you make 5
or
Bugattis?
we made some Bugattis, made the one of the greatest cars the world's ever seen. And in the long run, we'll make money from servicing, from second-hand values, from owning the brand, releasing, and then kicking on from the Chiron.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
I was going to ask you about this later on in the podcast, but seeing as on the topic right now, you being an owner of one, what was it like owning it in terms of costs? Because there's one thing spending £1 million in a car, but I'm sure, I've heard the tyres, just change a set of tyres is £25,000.
Well, they say I was definitely probably the poorest person to own a Veyron at the time in the world. They say the average Veyron owner has 32 cars, a boat, and a private jet.
Okay.
That's the average.
Yep. And what did you have at the time, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I only had
Aside from
I
the
only had
DJ.
31 cars and a boat. I didn't have the jet at the time. So what was it like owning one? Look, you've got to understand that this thing is not a car. It's more of an airplane than what it is a car.
Yeah.
A lot of the components are from aerospace.
Yeah.
They're not from cars.
Yeah, they can't be, yeah.
So, and you also have to take in pro rata. £25,000 for a service is a lot of money.
Yeah, of
But
course.
when your car's worth 2 million pounds,
That's only
it's 1%.
1%, yeah.
So if you've got a car that's worth 100,000 and it costs 1,000 to service, are you going to spit your dummy out and, think, oh my God, this is ridiculous?
Yeah, you're going to think that's not bad.
You expect it.
Yeah, you expect it, yeah.
So, pro rata.
Okay. And then, because
Well, what is expensive are tyres.
yeah, I mean, the tires are expensive. Yeah, you can't even change them to any other aftermarket ones or anything like that because they'll just do it. I remember when they were making the tires, there was a video of how they developed them in aerospace engineering program where they put the tires on like as if like a plane landing software sort of thing, and yeah, the tires are getting burnt out fully like that.
When those cars were manufactured, there was a lot of aerospace that went into them.
Yeah,
And you can feel that when you're driving it.
yeah.
You know, it feels. I've never flown an aeroplane, but it feels like I'm driving an aeroplane.
Yeah,
You know?
I suppose the takeoff speed. I've been in Aleem's one when he took out to Dubai. Granted, I didn't drive it, but just the actual visceral G-force that it gives you.
But doesn't it sound like a jet?
100%. It's probably, do you know what? I actually love the sound of that car. Yes, you can have a V12, V10, V8, whatever it may be, but the way those quad turbos spool up and just shoot you off is unreal.
Yeah.
It's an unreal experience. But Carl, look, I want to change topics and dive more into you, right?
Okay.
I've been here for about 20 minutes setting up while you've been on the phone, making sales, doing deals. You're a salesman at heart, right? And a lot of my friends are also salesmen as well. And when we speak about it, being a salesman they feel like they're born with it. They feel like they're born with that gift, and it's sometimes sparked with them later on in life, whether they're selling sweets on the playground, whether they've got a retail job and they have to do sales there. So I want to know, can you remember the first time you got a taste of that sales life?
This episode is sponsored by Fireaway Pizza, the fastest growing pizza company in the UK. With over 100 locations, you definitely have a store near you. The founder of Fireaway was on the show not too long ago, and you can get a slice of the action by using the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk. Once again, use the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk.
You know, it's been kind of different with me and my upbringing, where it's just part of our making. You know, to sell things, or buy things. It's just part of our making. And I remember I just always used to sell. I always used to sell things, not necessarily cars, but just anything. You know, and anything I could. I remember my brother. He's a bit older than me. He's 4 years older than me. When we was in primary school together, he was the one that sold all the milk.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You know, and it was normal to us. It was that was a normal thing. Yeah, like you 6-year-old selling the milk at the school.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, well, okay. You know.
Do you think that's down to the fact that you were in your family business at the end of the day? You see your dad
I think it's
doing
got a lot to do with personality.
Okay.
I think sales, I could say the same thing as what a very bland individual could say.
Yep.
We're talking the same language, saying the same words, and the outcome is the same price.
Yep.
And we're selling the same product.
But it's the way you say it.
But
and
you know, people buy people, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I've learned, and that works. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. So there could be times where somebody would rather buy something from somewhere else. So I'm sure, you know, that's the case.
Yeah.
But I think it's got a lot to do with personality.
In this case, would you say it's a lot to do with reputation as well? I mean, as in where we're right now.
No, of course. I mean, you know, you need all the help you can get in business. And, you know, if you've got a lot of things going for you, reputation, personality, knowledge, and you're selling the right product at the right price, it's a kind of, you know, you've that's a full house.
So you got a recipe right there.
Yeah, you know, that's a full house.
Yeah.
If that person doesn't buy from you, they don't want to buy from anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair enough.
So, you know, it's just like you get, you know, a real handsome guy stood there and a guy who's just, you know, mediocre.
Yep.
Handsome guy's got absolutely no personality at all whatsoever. The girl likes to look at him for 5 minutes. She tries to talk to him. He's boring as hell. The mediocre guy's got her laughing.
Yeah.
They have a good conversation.
She's the one he's going to go.
Thank you. That's what's going to happen. So it's the same thing with sales. They're both offering the same thing. His is probably more attractive than what his is.
It's the way you conduct yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the way you present yourself to people.
Yeah.
So speaking of childhood then, what was it like for you growing up then? You know, aside from sales, growing up in an environment like this, what was it like for you?
It was very hard, and I've realised this later in life. It's very hard to not take for granted your surroundings when you were born into those surroundings.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I get it now. Obviously, this business has changed a hell of a lot, so it should have in the last, I don't know, 15 years, say. And, you know, I watch kids come here now, and they're literally wouldn't rather be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, they're lit
You know,
up.
go to Disneyland or go to see Carl Hartley in the showroom. They want to come here.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I look at all these cars, you know, like there's just, how much does that car owe me? Who can I sell it to? Same with that one, same with that one. I'm looking at that one, I'm thinking, God, I wish I'd have sold that last week when I had the chance.
To you, it's just businesses.
It's complete business.
Yeah.
So you do take it for granted, but I see kids coming in, their face light up and they can't believe it. And, you know.
It's not a norm to them though, is it?
Exactly. It's not.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like working in a bank.
Yeah.
You know, if your job in the bank is to count money all day, for example, if you see a bag with £10,000 in it,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, just count it, get on with the job.
it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it just that's your job.
If someone else come across that bag,
Yeah.
their eyes would like.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've never seen that before. So, you know, it's just, it was great, but it was all, we learned every day. Every day we were growing up here. When we left school at 3:00, there was no, you know, going into the house, playing PlayStation, playing football, whatever that was. Me and my brother would come into the office until probably 6, half 6, until, you know, dinner time.
Have you always been in this estate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We would, you know, just learn what was going on. You know, have an update from my dad, you know, what he's bought today, what he sold today, what values are doing, what's this, and I'm talking about, you know, I'm 6 and my brother's 10.
Yeah.
And that was what we done. It's life. I've never gone to work. I just get up and I
just live
life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, I've got to go to work today. No, it's like tomorrow I've got to do this because it's part of my life.
Yeah.
You know?
So at 6 years old, coming from school, going to your dad, seeing what he's bought, seeing what he sold, did it have interest to you, or were you just doing it because Tom was doing it, as in your brother?
No. Like I say, I could never remember the first time where I thought to myself, I'm interested in cars. It was just a thing. It was just
the norm.
It was just the norm.
That's what I was just trying to understand.
Yeah, no, it just happened, and we were encouraged to go into the workplace and see what was going on and get a taste of business.
Yep.
But we were never forced. And if we didn't want to, we wouldn't have, but we wanted to. I know I wanted to. Because it interested me, and I loved cars, and you know, I wanted to see what, and there's such a great bar. I mean, you was in there setting up a minute ago, it can be like, you know, Wall Street.
Yeah.
Some days,
yeah.
you know.
To a petrol head, this is everyone's dream.
Yeah.
Especially when you have an office and a glass floor and below you is a GT2 RS. That's unreal as well.
Yeah. I mean, this showroom was a big leap for us. We built this probably six years ago, and we went extremely over budget, as you always do when you build something. We got carried away, but it's done us wonders. It really has. If you were coming today to spend 100,000 or 1 million or 10 million, you'd feel comfortable doing it here.
100% all day long, and you have a budget to cater to all of that as well.
And also, not a lot of people understand is that I deal with clients completely across the board. The majority of them are high net worth individuals because of the product that I sell. But that high net worth individual might only have, I say only, but he might be at our lower end of the spectrum and have 100,000 he wants to spend on a car. He doesn't get any different treatment to the guy who's bought a car from us for 15 million. He gets exactly the same treatment. He's our client, he's our customer, and he will one day come back
as that person,
as that other guy. You know, it happens, you know.
As your wealth builds up.
Exactly. Obviously, you know, that's the way it works. Everyone starts their journey somewhere. And I said this recently, I get such a buzz. Social media is great, and I try and interact with my followers as much as I can. But I had a guy recently, he sent me a direct message on like Instagram, say 3 years ago. And he said, I'm going to come and buy a supercar from you one day. And I can't remember reading the message.
Yep. You probably get tons of messages like that.
Of course, yeah, of course. And it's great motivation. And you know, it's like if I inspire people to think to themselves, I want to come and buy a car from him, that's great for me.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
3 years later, this guy came and bought a car from me. And he said, I sent you a message 3 years ago. He said, I told you. I said, look, I can't remember. He said, I'll show you it. And he looked through his phone and he got the message up and he said, I'm going to come buy a supercar from you one day. And I replied back, I'll be waiting for you. And he's finally here. Like that to me, I felt part of his journey. I felt like he achieved what he wanted to do because I kind of spurred him on to do so.
Yeah.
That gives me more satisfaction than what the profit in the car would be.
Do you know what? It's honestly true, yeah. Because like I said, growing up a petrolhead, I've spent half my life on Auto Trader, right? And I used to go on Auto Trader and then I'd see pictures of cars on this beautiful lake parked outside. And I was just like, I don't know where this dealership is. This is where I didn't have much knowledge of it. But I'm going to buy a car from these guys one day because the way they present themselves is unreal. And then obviously when you grow up in social media, you see people like yourself and the whole dealership and everything around it. And you think, yeah, this is crazy. This is the sort of place where I'd want to spend money.
Yeah. And that's what I want to try and give. I looked at my wife's Facebook before we built the showroom. And all of her friends, they'd go to, I think it's more of a female thing to do, but it's becoming, a thing to do now where they go into Louis Vuitton, they buy whatever they buy, and they have a picture with their carrier bag outside the shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to prove it's not
with the
fake.
shop sign.
Yeah, it's not fake. I've just bought it. You know what I mean? If you're really picky, you put the receipt on and everything. Right? And I thought, I want to try and create that for men. Mm-hmm. I want to try and create, when someone comes and buys a car, they are proud of where they bought it from. And they want to say, they're proud to wear our name on their number plates at the bottom.
Yep.
And, they want to come to a place where they want a picture outside of where they're buying the car or on the glass floor, or they want that lake picture. You know how many times I've bought a car I've sold a car to somebody and they've said, Carl, can you get the lake pictures on a USB for me? Because I want to get them blown up and put in my garage.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. Nearly every person does that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Talk to me. I want to ask you this question, right? You've experienced people from different levels of wealth, yeah? You've got people buying £1 million cars from you, £15 million, or whatever the case may be. Do you notice any sort of common traits within those people that have kind of made them successful? Or the way they conduct themselves, the way they carry themselves? Yeah.
A lot of people on the lower end of the bracket are more penny wise and pound foolish. Mm-hmm. And that's what they need to try.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, we'll have a car for, let's just say 150 grand.
Yep.
And obviously, because that car is probably more of a mass-produced item, there's other dealerships that have similar cars in comparison.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
For similar money.
Yep.
And they will say, your car's 150, I can buy a similar car for 145. Yeah, but that car's done 5,000 miles more. It's not got half the spec of what this car is. And, look who you're buying it from. Yeah, but, it's 5 grand, it's 5 grand, it's 5 grand. In the long term, they end up losing 10,000 more because their car is higher mileage, not quite the right color or the right spec. And they bought it from a place where someone goes, oh, that's Mr. Service or that's done that. Or people don't do their due diligence. I find people at the higher end of the scale want what they want. They still want a deal. Everyone wants a deal.
Yeah, of course.
And they're hard negotiators, and they're hard negotiators for a reason. That's why they're so successful. But I find people at the higher end, as long as you give them what they want and you make life very easy for them, these people are coming to spend money. They're not going to earn money. Mm-hmm. I'll work as hard as anybody to earn money.
Yep.
When it comes to spending, I don't want to work very hard to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want someone who doesn't return my calls. I don't want someone who can't deliver me the car until 2 weeks. I don't want, I want what I want.
You want it there and then, basically.
And I want it
easy, yeah.
So that's what we cater to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anywhere, I would say probably the world, that you can get catered to than what you can here. We have an on-site spa therapist. You come with your missus.
Yep.
How many times you've been shopping with your missus in Harvey Nichols and she's been looking at clothes or whatever for an hour now and you are fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to leave.
Many times.
Getting on your nerves.
Yep.
Well, that's the same thing when You bring your missus here. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Looking at this car, looking at that car.
Everyone's like, fed up.
I'm sick. I want to go home.
Yeah.
As long as she's occupied, go and get your hair done, your nails done, have a massage. You can do it all here.
And you have that on site here?
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even know that. That's crazy.
You want a massage?
I might as well get one off this podcast, 100%. Where did you think of that one from?
It's experience.
Okay, just experience.
It's just experience. You know, someone is 3 hours away and they want to see the car and they're like, oh, Carl, you know, I'd buy it if I was there. I can't get time. I haven't got the time to go 3 hours there, 3 hours back. We'll send a helicopter to pick them up.
That's crazy.
Helicopter pick them up, come here.
Yeah, done, yeah.
Yeah. Or if that isn't the case, how about this? How about we put the car on a truck? We drive it to you, we put it on your drive. Put it outside your office. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it. All right, send the money, done.
Done, yeah.
You know, who else does that?
How many of your clients are, because obviously you can ship cars abroad anywhere you want, right? Mm-hmm. So how many what's the ratio between cars that are kept in the UK and cars that you ship abroad? Because in my head, when I think of wealthy client, my brain automatically goes to somewhere like Dubai because they just got oil money, tourist money, whatever the case may be, right? Mm-hmm. So what's the ratio like for you?
Well, what you got to think of that's in that scenario is duty and tax and import duties and luxury car tax and stuff like that. Plus Dubai steering wheels on the left-hand side.
Yep.
So predominantly all our cars are right-hand drive, unless we're talking about Bugattis, 918 Spiders, Enzos, LaFerraris, that kind of stuff, where they only make them in left-hand drive.
Yep.
Those cars we ship all over the world. Brexit's made it a bit harder for us because we're not doing so much business with Europe anymore, but we're kind of doing more business with the Far East. The ratio, it depends on the car. How many Huracan STOs have I sold abroad? None. How many LaFerraris have I sold abroad? Loads.
Yeah.
You know, so it all depends on the car.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, what about, for example, that Pagani Veyron, right-hand drive, yeah? Which, there's not many right-hand drive Veyrons.
Three for the UK. I think 8 in total.
8 in
worldwide.
Total. So that's very, very small, right? So if you was to send that car abroad, it would have to go to another right-hand drive.
It would have to go to Australia, South Africa, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, which is where they're loved.
Yeah.
The Paganis. So, I think I'm talking to somebody at the minute who is based in Australia for that car.
You said you wouldn't sell that car.
I know.
So I know we had this conversation off camera, but I'm going to bring it up on camera.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when I see that car for sale, that shows me that at the end of the day, you are a salesman and everything's got a price on it. Whether you buy it for personal use or whether you buy it for business, everything's got a price on it. So even in the times where you said, I wouldn't sell that car, I don't want to sell it, I love it. If someone offered you 5 million, would you then say?
So when I made those comments, that was how I was feeling at the time that I made those comments. Circumstances change. The car's gone up a hell of a lot in value. And I've had it now for 3 years. I've loved it. I enjoy it. Whenever I sell it, whoever I sell it to, for whatever amount I sell it for, I'll always regret it. I know that. But my wife, my kids, my family, they want a bigger house, they want more land, they want their needs. And I'm looking at that, and it's,
it's all of that.
It's a 7-bedroom country estate somewhere, and it's just there.
Yeah.
And then I question, how often do I actually use it? And then I question, well, it's gone up a lot in value. It's continuing to go up. As soon as the Utopia which is the successor to that car, as soon as that's launched, the Veyron will go through the roof again. That's always what happens.
Yeah.
And, let someone else have I've had massive benefit out of that car.
Yeah.
Financially. But, you can't take it all.
Yeah, no.
Let someone else have it.
What do you think that car will be worth in the future?
Oh, I think, it will always.
Right now, you've got it listed for 2.8, am I right?
2.650.
2.650.
Yeah. So
what do you think it'll be worth then? Yeah.
Oh, look, I don't think there's any stopping those cars because, if you look at the the Pagani Zonda, a Wayro will never be worth as much as a Zonda for the reasons that we talked about on the Speciale.
Yeah.
It's V12, naturally aspirated, manual.
Those are just unreal special cars. Yeah.
But, it's very, the build quality is nowhere near the Wayro. But we're talking, there's 15 years in the difference or 12 years in the difference. So it's like, that's the best build quality car I've ever seen. Yeah, even today. That car's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Even in today's
I was looking at the interior. It is a work of art, but I didn't think you was going far to say it's the best build quality as well.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
They have it by a wire.
So, where do I think they'll stop? I don't know. Who knows? I know I'll look back on that car one day and, I'll think, oh God, that car today is probably worth 7 million.
Yeah. Mad.
It will be. A Zonda starts at 5 million now. That's your starter kit, and that's even if you can find one.
There was one that was got into an accident. I think it was in south of France, I believe it was, and I think that one was valued at 20 million euros.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they go from. If you came to me today and said, Carl, I want a Pagani Zonda. I don't care if it's right or left-hand drive. I don't care if it's coupe or convertible. Don't care. I just want one within the next week. There's £5 million. I would seriously struggle to find you one.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this then, as we're on the topic of it. So the exact same scenario, yeah. Let's just say the budget's not 5 million. I'm going to say, Carl, look, I want a Zonda. Here's 12 million, for example. What's your first step to finding these cars? Because they're not exactly going to be listed. And I'm sure it's one of those ones where you got to find out who the owner is and make them a good offer, right?
I know of a lot. I know of every car there is. You could say to me, Carl, I want to buy a CLK GTR Roadster.
Yeah.
One of two cars.
Yep.
I know a guy that's got one. So,
but how do you meet these guys? Or how do you know these guys? Is it because you've sold them the car? Or because...
sometimes it is. As a car like that, it's not the case. But I've sold them something. Or I've met them somewhere. Or I know their friend who introduced me to them.
Yeah.
And then we've got in contact. And, you see, as much as I've got good contacts, I am my good contact's good contact.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah.
So they think, I need to know that guy because I've got loads of cars, and if I ever want to shift one or
he's the guy.
I need to introduce myself to him.
Yeah. You are the link between them and their financial...
Exactly. One guy is in, let's say, he owns a coal mine in South Africa. Yeah. And he loves cars. And the other guy is a Chinese tech wizard who's made all his money from tech. They are never going to be in the same room as each other. Not ever. Not ever. Unless it revolves around a car. Unless they go on the Pagani Ronduno drive and he has a Pagani and he has a Pagani. That's the only time they meet.
Do you know what I was speaking to this with someone as well, right? The beautiful thing about cars is that it's a universal language.
It connects people.
Yeah, it connects people there and then.
So I'm a connector.
Yeah, the connector. Do you think a lot of your business relies on your network?
This episode is sponsored by SUNNAMUSK, the UK's leading fragrance brand specialising in ouds and musks. They have some of the longest lasting perfumes you can try, and with over 20 locations, you can certainly smell it for yourself. And you can also check out SUNNAMUSK online by visiting www.sunnamusk.com and checking out the wide range that they have to offer. I personally use Abbé d'Ambre, but I'm sure you'll find a perfume that fits you. So make sure you come down to a SUNNAMUSK store or check out the website using the link in the description.
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah, of course.
How many of like...
Network and reputation.
Network and reputation, right? So you list a car up for sale, yeah, whether it's on your website or trade, whatever the case may be. How many times is it actually sold from that ad or sold because you've made calls to X amount of people and one of them has bought it?
We sell cars every day from both scenarios. A better example is when somebody, and this happens a lot, somebody has a car on sale or return at another dealership who doesn't quite have as good a reputation or any reputation, and they either haven't got the network or can't be bothered to exhaust their network in order to sell that car.
Yep.
The guy who owns the car call me up and go, Carl, they've had the car for 2 months, they've not sold it. I'll buy it from him. I'll list it up at the same price as what the other dealerships had it up for 2 months. I had it recently, and the dealership had a car for 12 months. I listed it at the same price. I sold it within a day because I know how to sell things.
Because exactly what we're going back to, being the salesperson, the type of person that you're buying from, the business that you're buying from. Earlier we were talking about this conversation in the podcast, but yeah.
You're not going to sell a vegan the best piece of Wagyu steak in the world. Do you know what I mean?
It's not happening.
You're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
You need to go and find the room that you want to be in.
Yeah. No, for sure. These cars are, so you don't do SOR, do you? Sale or return?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We find it's more beneficial for the client and for us to just do a straight transaction. But sometimes that doesn't work for the client for various reasons. One could be, Carl, I want mega money for my car. You're the man to sell it. But I'm not in a rush. I don't need the money. It can sit there, not bothered. Another one could be, shoes on the other foot. I could say to you, you've got an M4. I got a client ask me for an M4 last week, and I think he'd buy your car. Can I show it to him? And you'll go, well, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, why not?
So I don't have to commit.
Yeah.
And, so it works both ways. But, I see dealerships these days. We're always sending adverts out there. You've probably seen, we want to buy your car today.
Yeah.
We will pay more and collect today. And now I see dealerships, nearly every dealership go, do you want to sell your car? Let us SOR it for you.
Do you think it's becoming like a trend?
How is someone going to call you over they call me?
Yeah.
How is that going to happen? You know?
And here's what I'm trying to understand with the other side of things, where you buy the cars, So let's take your Veyron, for example, because that's, to my understanding, the most expensive car in this room here right now, right?
Yeah, will be, yeah.
So let's just say you bought this for the intentions of selling it, yeah? Someone came to you, you bought it. To you, is that putting that 2 million quid into a car, is that not a risk? Because at the end of the day, there's 2 million quid sitting there, and now you've got to rely on that being sold before that 2 million's out again. Or would you only buy it knowing that you've got a customer on the other end for it?
Well, two scenarios why I'm not worried about that. Number one is I'm not down to my last 2 million, so I don't care.
Okay, yeah.
I want to try and get rid of as many 2 millions as I possibly can to put into stock. And number two, I'm not investing 2 million in the car. I'm investing it in myself and my knowledge and my abilities. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, fair play. Carl, I want to dive it back to your story, right? Because I think we stopped off when you were 6 years old. Yeah. And we've missed out a whole chunk.
There's only 30 years to go.
There's only 30 years to go, yeah. So we missed out a whole chunk. So where did it go from there? So you're in school now, you come home, you see your dad, you see what's going on with the business. Where does it go from there? When did you start experiencing things for yourself? Because from what I've heard and what I know, you've dropped out of school early, right?
Yeah, I dropped out of school when I was 11 years old. I left primary school, dropped out of school. And between the age of 6 and 11, I had a lust for cars, but also business. But I didn't know business at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know I loved business. I just knew I loved cars.
Yeah.
And I didn't love racing cars. I didn't love valeting cars. I loved to be around people buying and selling cars, which is business. But I didn't know it was business at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So then when my dad has always been extremely supportive of me and my brother. He didn't treat us like kids when we were kids. We both, we both expressed how we didn't want to go to school anymore.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, how did he take that?
Like I say, he treated us like adults when we were young. And he's like, okay, well, you don't want to go to school no more. Okay, so what are you going to do? Well, I want to buy and sell cars. We'll come with the business. Oh, you want to come with the business? All right. We're going to go to work every day, like I do. Yeah. And what, you think you can do that? Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, he sort of wanted to set us up to fail, if that made sense. Go on then. Because it's that easy. You can do it.
Yeah. Learn the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he knew we would prove him wrong.
Yeah.
And really we were proving him right, because I know he knew that I could do it or we could do it. But by him going, yeah, okay, well, look, anything you need, I'll support you, and blah 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 blah. That doesn't ignite that fire inside of a young man to want to prove himself, because you think, if I do or if I don't, it doesn't make.
I've got his support anyway. Yeah. No, I get that 100%. You want to prove to your dad, I got this. I could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was given an ultimatum when I left school at primary school age. I think it was 11. I can't remember if it was 11 or 12. And he was like, right, okay, so this is the scenario. You're going to go to work. You're going to buy and sell cars. And obviously, I wasn't using my own money. I was using the money that was in the business. That was his. And you need to be able to buy your part in this business by the time you're 18. What that consists of is you need to pay for the structures, the showroom, a third of it at the time, because my brother was already in the business.
Part of it, so yeah.
You need to pay for the stock. You need to pay for your third for that stool.
Mm-hmm.
That TV, that fire alarm, everything. Third of everything, right? And how you're going to do that is you're going to buy and sell a car, and whatever the profit is out the car that you buy or sell, you get a third.
Mm-hmm.
On that third, you got to pay tax. You got to pay VAT.
On that third as well.
On that third.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden now, your profit margins got very small.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And then you look how much you need to earn to pay for all this stuff that you need to do.
Yeah.
And you think, right, let's get to work. And that's what spurred me on. That's why I've worked every single day since I left school.
Since you left school.
Every single day,
which is crazy.
I was recently away. My wife and the kids, they spend the summer out in Spain, and I go there for a week, come back for a week, go there for a week. When I can, when I think, I've got a few free days here, but it doesn't mean I'm not working. And my wife will say, "Will you just stop for a second?" I'm like, if I can't work, I won't enjoy my holiday.
I was going to say, because the beauty of this is, yes, you have the dealership. Yes, you need the dealership to have the cars here, but most of your business is probably done with phone calls.
Phone,
exactly how
WhatsApp,
you've done.
mobile phone, WhatsApp.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But that's selling.
Yeah.
The different side of the business is buying. So I've got to be there to buy something.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I can't be too. I can buy certain things blind, and I do have a good staff that they can go and be my eyes and ears when I'm not here.
Yep.
But the animal of this business, what I have created, me and my dad have created, is people follow us, and they want to buy a car or sell a car to us.
Yeah.
They don't want to really buy a car from somebody they don't know, a salesman who is still acting on behalf of us. They want the experience of dealing with us.
100%.
And we have created that unknowingly. So it takes off. There's no I can just do what I do from a boat in the south of France.
Mm-hmm.
No, because that guy, Carl, if I can't deal with you, I'm not dealing.
You're not doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Not in it.
So that's a conundrum that we have.
So when you left school and you first started in this dealership, you started working here now, yeah? Mm-hmm. Talk to me. What was your first transaction, whether it was you buying a car or selling a car? Can you remember?
So the setup, how it was, what we used to do is my dad would take a phone call.
Yep.
He would say to the client who was selling a car, for example, if they're selling, okay, I'm going to send my son round. He's going to come and have a look at the car, and we'll talk when he's there. Okay, no problem. So I used to go around, look at the car, find out if there was any defects on the car, how much what I thought we need, scuff wheel, chip on the windscreen, do this, do that, whatever it was. Relay it back to my dad. Dad, I think we need to spend £2,000 on this car to get it back to showroom ready. Okay. And then he would say, right, what do you think it's worth? He's already had this conversation with the customer.
Okay, yeah.
But he hasn't had the conversation with me yet. So what do you think it's worth? Now, there is no way you could turn around and go, oh, I don't know. So what are you then? Are you a car dealer, or are you an inspector?
Yeah. At that point, what good are you for the business?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
I told you yesterday you're going to see this car. It's up to you to do the research because you're going.
Yeah, you have to find out.
Yeah, exactly. So I would have researched the market that night or earlier that day, seen what I thought it was worth.
Mm-hmm.
Then got there and realised that it needs a bit of money spending on the car. Some did and some didn't.
Yep.
And, you know, do it that way. Done that for a couple of years. When it comes to sales, I don't think you can teach sales.
That's what I'm saying. I think it comes into a natural instinct inside of you that's brought out.
I mean, look, the first thing you need to do in sales is realise how much you paid, what your expenses are,
Yep.
and then sell it for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's simple, really.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Can you remember, so for example, the setup that you just explained, yeah, can you remember the very first car that your dad told you to go and see?
No.
Not at all?
No.
What was the first one that gave you some sort of memory?
I remember the very first car that I bought and sold completely off my own back, with no assistance, no help, no advice, nothing.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
It was a 2001 BMW M3 E46.
Sick car.
Yeah, great car.
Yeah.
I remember how much I paid. I paid £45,000 for it. And I was 14 years old. And I bought it from central London.
Mm-hmm. The car was 14 years old?
No, I was 14.
Oh, you were 14. Okay, yeah.
The car was brand new.
Yeah.
And I bought it from central London. And I drove it home.
Yeah? At 14 years old?
14.
So you bought
And
it
I sold it on the way home.
And for people who don't know, that's a 2.5 hour drive roughly, right?
Yeah, and it's highly illegal now, so don't do that. I'm not telling you to do that.
How did you get away with that? Driving at 14 years old, how did you get away with that?
You know,
M3.
And that, you know, I used to drive when I was younger I started driving when I was younger without my dad's acknowledgement that I was driving when I was younger, but it didn't take him long to find out.
As we all do, yeah.
I didn't take him long to find out. And then he was like, what are you doing? So I was like, well, I had to go and see this car.
Yeah.
I bought the car. Like, what other choice have I got?
Yeah, who's going to drive the M3 back to London?
Yeah, and he's like,
you must have loved that, man.
You shouldn't do this. This is stupid. You're going to get in a lot of trouble, blah, blah, blah. And being 14, 15, like, you don't think about anything like that. I'm just money focused. And that's kind of when my love of cars transitioned into love of business, you know?
So that point, so you said you bought and sold the M3 on the way home, yeah? So you picked it up. How did you sell it on the way home?
There was a group buyer for a company called Sytner. Have you heard of Sytner?
Yeah.
So
as in the BMW group, right?
Yeah, BMW group.
Yep.
BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, whatever there was. And, you know, the key core of our business is we're traders. You know, like I've just said, you figure out how much you bought it for, you figure out your expenses, you sell it for more. Okay, you might want to sell it for this much more.
Yep.
But in realistic terms, a quick profit's a good profit, and you can move on and do something else.
100%, yep.
That's the way our business is based, really. So I picked the phone up to the head buyer of Sytner, who would be in not this showroom, but in the other showroom, from when I was 5 years old. You'd see him 3 days a week. My dad would do a lot of business with them. So I thought, you know what? His name's Jeremy Mallet, by the way. And his son, Thomas, will probably watch this podcast because he's also involved in the car industry.
Oh, is he?
And he's a great guy. And his dad is a piece of furniture here to us. You know? Yeah. And anyway, so I called Jeremy. And I said, Jeremy, I've got a new M3. Oh, I said, do you want to buy it? And Jeremy, because he's known me from being no age, like a kid, would treat me as he would my dad. Well, how much is it, Carl? I bought it for 45 and I asked him 48. And he said, no, it's not worth 48. I won't give you 48. I'll give you 45. So I said, no, I can't take that, Jeremy. No problem. Don't worry about it. We'll just retail it.
Yep.
I'll give you 46. So 46 turned into, I come down to 47. And he said, look, we're £1,000 away. Should we just split it? And we'll make it up on the next deal. Yeah, okay, no problem. Done
just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. I see the power and the art of negotiating is something else. You know.
But you also, negotiation, I was with a very successful guy recently in Spain, in Marbella, one of my wife's friend's husbands, who's a very, very successful guy, and very highly educated, but also very highly business taught, you know? And we had the same conversation. You can't learn to negotiate, you know? You can't learn to negotiate. You
don't think?
You have to have learned from experience on negotiating.
Okay, that makes sense. Because the way I was gonna explain it is, I remember I used to go to Marrakesh as a family when I was younger, and you'd go to the markets. I'd see my dad constantly negotiating on prices for whatever the case may be at the market stores. So I was gonna say that kind of taught me.
It's experience.
Yeah.
You've seen it happen. You've seen it done. Then you've done it, and you've realised that you could have negotiated harder. So next time you will.
Yeah. So
and then you've realised someone's body language when you thought, oh, you know what? I took that price for that commodity that I had, and you know, looking back on it now, he'd have paid more because his body language, things you remember, he would have paid more. So that's how you learn to negotiate. You have to know who you're negotiating with.
I want to know your sales tactic here, yeah? So let's just say me and you are negotiating right now.
Yeah.
Over this speciale right here, yeah? And then it gets to a price, we're not meeting at a price, but we're close to it, and you know that we're close to it.
Why are we not meeting at the price?
Say that again, sorry?
Why are we not meeting at the... Why can't we get to...
Okay, I'll give you an example. How much you selling that car for?
385.
Okay, 385. So let's just say it's 385. I've offered you 350 or something, right?
Okay.
And the lowest you've come down to is, I don't know, 370. But I'm not going to budge anything more.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm one of those customers that says, all right, Carl, no worries, see you later, and kind of walks off from the deal, what's your strategy to get me back in the deal?
So what I would say to you on that specific car is that's 1,300 miles from new in the most desirable colour for a Speciale.
Yep.
It's 2 owners. It's the best one on the market. At not that I would take 370, by the way, so say but let's just say we were talking about it. At 370, that car is £40,000 less than anything that can be compared to it. So what I'm thinking is, look, that car's not for you. But if your budget is 350, I'll get you a 7,000 mile car in a less desirable colour. And then you're going to go, well, I don't want to buy a 7,000 mile car. And I don't want a less desirable colour. What, don't you think I can stretch to that one?
Yeah, you're going to start selling to me that's not brown colour.
No, obviously not. You know, you have a budget and that's your budget.
Yeah.
And you go, well, and then all of a sudden you're back in the room. I don't want a 7,000 mile car. Yeah. I want a 1,300. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, you're not at the table, mate. We're not in the same room. So you need to
do a deal.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And usually, how long do negotiations about cars last for? Because I can imagine they can.
I can be negotiating with some people for a month, and I can then be negotiating with some people on 4 WhatsApp texts.
Yeah.
How much is that car? 385. We take 370. No. How much will you take? I take 380. We take 375 for it today. Yeah, go on then. Done.
Yeah.
Done. Deliver me the car next week. Okay, done. And then you get some people, they come, they see the car, they go home, they bring their wife. They're proper people. They've got the money. They're going to buy.
Yeah.
But it's just it's their mentality, and it's just who they are, their personality. They don't like to jump into things. They're not rash. They're not quite sure what they're buying, but they do want to buy one. So they go home and then they research everything and watch every single YouTube video. Yeah. What Jeremy Clarkson said about it 10 years ago. And you're like, oh, God. You know.
I feel like...
But you've still got to cater to them, and you've still got to give them the time they need. Like, you really want to say, for fuck's sake, will you just pull the trigger or
just
not?
Buy it, yeah.
I know and you know you're going to buy it.
Yeah.
We both know you're going to buy it.
Yeah.
Your wife gives you the thumbs up. You've seen it twice. You've drove it. It's a good price. You're going to buy it.
Yeah, 100%.
And they do end up buying it, but you just got to step back and give them the room, give them the space. And that's where, when I said to you, you can't learn how to negotiate, you have to be able to read someone's personality in order to know how to negotiate with that person. You know? Someone comes to me and they go, Carl, I've got this car. I've got this Ferrari SF90. And I've got a massive tax bill that's coming in. I need to sell the car today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've called around everywhere and I can't get a bid for it. Well, he's not going to be a hard negotiator, is he?
No, not at all. No, because he
No.
doesn't seem like he's a bit desperate to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's flip it. You go to, someone walks in the showroom and they goes, oh, that SF90, white with the Italian stripe. I've looked for a white one for 12 months. Can't find one anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's got the right seats. Oh, I love it. Well, he's not going to be a hard negotiator either, is he?
No, not at all. Because he's come in and seen the car exactly that he wants.
Exactly. Yeah. Flip it again. You get someone who comes in and goes, the car's an SF90. I don't like white. It's a nice car. I mean, I could live with it, but I really want a red one. How much is it? $385. Yeah. Then I think, oh, I can tempt him into this car on price. Mm-hmm. He kind of likes it. He's here.
It's the car he likes. It's just not the right colour.
Sometimes, you can gauge from somebody when they're here, they're either buying or they're not. If someone comes in, they're buying a car today because they're here to buy a car.
Yeah.
They haven't got time to do this all week and go and see another car and drive to Colchester to see one and then go up to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Hasn't got time.
Yeah.
So I'm here to buy the car. So he then holds the negotiation cards because he knows that if I can afford to take the price that would get him into the car, that I'm going to.
Yeah. 100%, yeah.
But then you also have your product. Someone comes into me and they want a right-hand drive Pagani Huayra. Well, guess what?
They're not getting anyone else.
I've got the only one.
Yeah.
So do as you wish.
Then the ball's in your court fully.
The car's worth what I say it's worth.
Yeah. Because you can't get anywhere else anyway.
Go and buy another one.
It's not exactly like a Hurricane.
Oh, car, it's I don't like the colour.
Yeah.
Go and buy another one.
Yeah. And I'm sure as the value increases with prices of cars, negotiations also become more of a struggle, or?
No.
No?
The opposite.
Opposite, easier. Mm-hmm. Oh, fair play. I want to ask you this, Carl, right? So you joined the business with your dad now. He's in another generation to you and myself. Mm-hmm. What sort of values and traits would you say you have brought to the business? Because I believe younger generations always bring something fresh and new to when they're joining businesses, co-businesses, existing businesses. What is it, would you say, that you've brought here that wasn't necessarily?
Well, look, this business was already quite a established business. Say if I joined the business 22 years ago.
Yep.
No, 22 years or 23 years ago. I would like to think I am responsible for, our stock levels going up probably 300%. Our profits going up substantially. Mm-hmm. Our networking clients going up substantially. But it's all about evolution. You can't say, oh, he is single-handedly responsible for that, and because we're a partnership. We work together. So it's hard, but I feel like obviously the social media aspect of the way the world is now, it needed a younger person to bring that into a business and to use it. Mm-hmm. And now my dad is like flat out on social media. He's constantly he's just.
That's like my dad as well.
He's flat out. He's funny, man. He's funny. He has this. He makes these videos where he's like, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. And now it gives people an insight to how we were brought up. It's 8 a.m. in the morning. If you're not out of bed and you're not at work, you're a lazy bastard. Yeah? So if you don't think you are, you are. TH said that you are a lazy bastard. Get up, go to work.
I love that generation, man. I love the rawness of like your generation of my dad as well. My dad's so raw like that as well. My dad would call people lazy bastard or...
He's created his own email address for people to email him. It's something like I'm a lazy bastard @th.com.
What?
So people, and this is unbelievable, you get like big CEOs of companies, they will email him and go, Tom, I feel better sending you this email. I went out last night, didn't get back till late. I did not get out of bed today till 9:30. I'm a lazy bastard. I've told the rest of the workplace that I just was feeling a bit under the weather. I'll be in at 10 o'clock or whatever. The truth is I didn't get out of bed. I'm a lazy bastard. I've told you, and now I feel better for it. And he loves it. He loves it.
So what I'll ask you on that note then, is what sort of key factors play a part into success? Obviously, we've realised that laziness is quite detrimental to success.
I don't know any successful lazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible. It's like saying I don't know any fit fat person.
Yeah, no.
You know,
they
don't
put you in the same
they don't go
sentence.
hand in hand.
Yeah. So what would you say are the key factors to determine someone's success?
I think you've got to be motivated, and you've got to be willing to do what the next man won't do. You know, if he's getting up at 7, you get up at 6. If he's finishing at 8, you're finishing at 9. If he won't drive 500 miles to do whatever he's got to do, you make sure you do.
Yeah.
You know, and also the most successful people that I know, they're failures. You know, they fail a lot and have failed a lot.
Time and time again.
Time and time again, they failed a lot.
Yeah.
But they never failed. They just didn't get there at that point. But they learned from that and they changed their outlook.
Lessons.
And they done it in a different way.
Yeah.
And then that failed. So I thought, right, we need to do it a different way. You know, Usain Bolt made a great statement. He said, I trained for 5 years to run for 9 seconds.
That's crazy.
You know, he trained for 5 years every day so he could run for 9 seconds.
Statements like that.
And you think, was it worth it?
Yeah.
Of course it's worth it.
It puts things into perspective, you know, all these times you got to train and once again, fail. But in the end, the long run of it, it's going to work out.
And this is what I don't get with schools. I listen to things like that. A guy that is the most successful in the world at what he's done, the greatest. And when he says something, he gives people advice on how to be the greatest. You listen.
Yep.
Because he's been there and he's done it. You go to university, you go to college, and you've been in school all your life. And I don't even know what age you are when you go to university. What, you're 18, 19?
Yeah, right, 18, 19.
18, 19. You're in university and you got your head screwed on and you realise you don't want to study something that is not going to help you in life. You want to study business.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're half got your head screwed on a bit. You know where you want to go. And then you're getting taught business by someone who has never had a business.
Doesn't make sense.
Has never been successful in business.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what it is to have a business, make a business, win at business. They have no idea. I'm not going to teach you how to play darts because I don't know how to play darts. You know? Go to someone who's very good at darts.
Yeah, and arguably the best way to learn things is by experiencing it in the first place.
Exactly.
This episode is sponsored by Energy Geeks. Energy Geeks are a leading utility consultancy specializing battling the rising prices of business utilities in the market. They specialize in the procurement of business energy contracts, and their direct relationships allow them to find the most competitive prices on the market, helping you find out exactly what you want and need. They can also help facilitate the change of tenancies, sort out any billing issues you may have, or simply offer you the most transparent advice available. The list of what they could do is endless. So head to the website energygeeks.co.uk. The link is on the screen right now, also in the description. Check it out and see what they can do for you.
So how has a teacher got any experience in business? They might be extremely qualified at being a teacher and they could teach you how to be a teacher.
Yeah, but they can't teach.
But they can't teach you
how
how to be an entrepreneur, how to be successful in business because they've never been it.
Yeah.
And here's a funny thing that you should know. My dad didn't go to school.
Did you not?
No,
not
go
at
to
all.
school whatsoever.
Okay.
Didn't go to school. I mean, he probably had a handful of days in his life in school.
Yeah.
And now he gives seminars at colleges, at universities, at really, really major private schools. And even the schools come here for him to lecture them on business. Mm-hmm. And he's never set foot in a school before.
Yeah, that's mad. And you should do a podcast for your dad as well.
Because that
story sounds insane.
Dyslexic. His writing, only he can read. You know, he'll write something down. I'm like, I don't know why. They're like, what clue what that says. And even sometimes he's like,
what did I say? What did I write myself?
Exactly. So that's a great, that's a great, win for him.
Yeah.
And you know, I got 3 kids.
I'm just gonna ask you this. So you've got 3 kids, all very young. Yeah. If they get to that point where they say, you know what, Dad, I want to leave school as well. With you had leaving school as well when you were younger, what would you say to your kids when they say they want to leave?
So I'm in a predicament here where I'm not an educated person. I've sort of learned along the way. Mm-hmm. I've tried to learn as much as I possibly can along the way, and I've got to certain points in life where I think I don't know enough about that subject. I'm going to learn more about it.
Yep.
Which you'd have probably learned in school. earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I was too busy making money to sit and learn about VAT.
Mm-hmm.
Because earning money teaches you about VAT, as an example.
Yeah.
But, I look at my kids and I'd love all of them. I've got one boy and two girls, and I would love all of them to want to join the business. I'd love that. They might want to, they might not want to. If they do want to, and they come to me and they say, Dad, I want to leave school, I send them to a really good school at the minute, and a lot better school than I went to. And I want them to learn. I want them to be better than me. I want them to leave school knowing a lot more than I knew. So I can take what I've learnt from my dad, who took what he learnt from his dad, and we can push for a better generation.
Yep.
So I'd love my kids to speak different languages. I mean, that holds me back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love for my kids to be more educated on every aspect, so they don't have to employ somebody to find out the answer to something. If I don't know the question to something, I will call my accountant. I'll speak to my girl in accounts. I'll speak to my solicitor. Can you do this? Can you not? Is this right? Is this wrong?
You can find out answers.
Yeah, I can find the answers.
Yeah.
But it costs me money.
Yeah.
If I knew the answers,
It would save you money.
it would save me money. Plus, I remember I bought some cars from Rome before Brexit. I bought quite a big collection of Ferraris, and I didn't start off buying the whole collection. I bought one F40.
Mm-hmm.
So flew over to Rome. The cars were kept in a Ferrari dealership specialist service center kind of place. Really nice setup. Met the client. So I only spoke to him on email. Met the client. Met the guy who owns the place where this is stored. Nobody spoke English. Nobody spoke a word of English. But we somehow, between the three of us and writing stuff down, we managed to get a deal done. But what made me on the back foot, or feel like I was on the back foot, is these two people are having a conversation.
And you're not involved.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I know they're talking about me.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're
They
talking
could say whatever they want and you wouldn't even know.
Never a clue.
Yeah.
He could have said to him, hey, look, worst case, we're going to take the offer that he's made, but let's just try and get a bit more out of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. And we're talking, at the time it was a £1.2 million car. So, we're talking big scales here. And it made me feel really inferior, and it made me feel like I didn't get the best part of the deal because I was in control at all. But I got the deal done, and that was that. 3 weeks later, I've had a phone call again. The guy wants to sell an F50.
The same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah.
So, same procedure, got an aeroplane, flew to Rome. Googled before I got there schools in the local area.
Mm-hmm.
Got in touch with a English teacher in the school and told her I'd pay her €500 for 2 hours. You got to come with me.
Yep.
Drove to the school, picked her up, went to the dealership, told her, don't say a thing. I don't want you to say anything at all. I want you to just stand there. I'm going to let these two people talk. I'm going to go through the same procedure. I'm going to try and communicate with them, write stuff down and do whatever.
Yep.
I don't want you to say a word.
So I'm just going to ask you just for more details. Did those two guys know who she was?
No clue.
Okay, so
she was just my assistant.
Okay, so you're just your assistant. All right,
my assistant.
Cool. Yep.
Right. We went for a coffee, and I said to the girl, "What was he saying?" And she was an Italian.
Yeah, translator
who taught English.
Yeah.
She could speak both languages.
Yeah.
She told me everything they were saying. They spoke completely openly in front of her.
Yeah.
On the basis of what I've just said. That's a good offer. Him down the road won't pay that much. He hasn't seen the car. This is a good buy, blah, 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 blah. But we'll try and hang out for a bit more. She's telling me all this. So I know their game plan now.
Yeah.
It cost me €500. Before, it might have cost me £100,000 because I could have got a better deal.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, that's
clever strategy.
Yeah, but you're not going to learn that in school. That's your initiative and common sense.
Yeah.
I felt like I've been fucked once. I ain't going back to be fucked again.
You must have some crazy stories when it comes to, you know, buying cars or, you know, anything. Where's the craziest place you've bought a car from? Like stories like that, for example.
Oh, so it's such a great story when I bought the Bugatti, when I bought the Veyron.
Go on.
Yeah, that really, really sticks in my head. I mean, I'm in situations and predicaments every single day, one way or another, but this really sticks in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided one day that I want to buy a Veyron. I seen where the prices were, and I thought they were extremely undervalued, and I still think they are.
How much were they at the time, if you don't mind me asking?
I paid $650,000 for my Veyron, but we're talking 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, but even 10, but I'm just thinking about the value of them today, and I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy.
But they're way too undervalued today.
Yeah.
They're way too undervalued. So I called my connections, because I've got connections everywhere. I called my connections at Bugatti. And I said, I want to buy a Veyron. If you get offered any, I know these people don't buy used cars. Bugatti, these dealers, they don't buy cars. They just sell new cars.
Yep.
If you need to take a car on a part exchange or whatever, I'm looking for one personally. Give me a heads up. So the guy in the service center, he said, look, there's a client. Can't give you any of his details, but he's going through a divorce. He's had the car from new. We've just serviced it. He's going through a divorce, and he doesn't need to sell it financially, but because it's an asset in the divorce, it needs to be sold.
Yep.
I said, okay, well, give me his name and number. And he said, Carl, I can't. You know, it's GDPR. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Data protection. So I thought, right, okay. Can you tell me what colour the car is? Yes, grey and silver. Right. Called another one of my connections up who lives in London.
Yep.
Who owns a grey and silver UK registered Veyron? I don't know. There's a Russian guy. Barely uses it though. I've only ever seen it twice. Normally keeps it in a car park on Mount Street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bit more digging. Found out who the guy was. Got his telephone number. Got his wife's telephone number. Right?
They're going for a divorce.
Going to a divorce. Right? She was Russian as well, but she spoke very good English. Husband didn't even speak English.
Okay.
Right? So I called her. She gave me his number. I said that I'm calling about the Bugatti, and she was obviously encouraged the situation for me to buy it because it needed to be settled.
Mm-hmm.
So, long story short, called the guy up. He didn't speak English. I'm saying, I call about the Bugatti, the Veyron. You have a Bugatti I wish to buy. Blah, blah, blah. Phone down. Don't call me again. Phone down. Phone down.
Yeah.
So, like the next day, a guy who spoke English, he called me back very abruptly. Hi, who is this? Introduced him. Halfway through me introduced him. He's like, what do you want? I understand Mr. I can't say his name, but he wants to sell a Bugatti. I want to buy a Bugatti. Who told you? Who gave you this number? Mrs. gave me this number. Mm-hmm. And okay, so it was no problem. If I'd have said Bugatti Service Centre give me this number, there'd have been issues.
Yeah, 100%.
And they didn't. I had to get it my own way. Anyway, how much do you want to offer? I said 650,000. No, not interested. Sorry, bye. Phone down. 2 weeks later, I had a phone call again from a number in Austria. And answered the phone. Hello? Hello, Mr. Carl. This is, I can't remember the translator's guy's name. Mr. Let's call him
John.
Mr. John. He said, if you're seriously interested on buying his car, he will see you this evening at the, what was the hotel called? Kapinski. He'll see you tonight at the Kapinski Hotel in Vienna.
And where are you at this point?
I'm in my office.
Okay.
Right? I'm here.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what time? We have dinner at 7:30, after dinner, maybe 10 p.m.
Yep.
Look, it's like 1 p.m. now. Fuck, how am I going to get to Vienna? But I've always got my passport. If you look, I've got my passport on my desk. I've
Always ready to go.
So at the time, I had a 991 Porsche Turbo S. I just got in the car.
And just
I just drove towards an airport.
Yeah.
So my assistant at the time, lovely girl called Hannah, called her. I said, Hannah, I need a flight to Vienna. I need it now. I don't care where it's from, but preferably I'm going south. So we've got Birmingham, we've got Stansted, we've got Luton, we've got Heathrow, we've got Gatwick.
Gatwick, yeah. Get me somewhere along there.
Get me somewhere. There's got to be somewhere. And
Yeah.
she called me up. She's like, there's one at Stansted, but it leaves in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm an hour away on a good day, but I'm in a 991 turbo.
Terrible word. I was just going to say this shit.
I have I broke every single speeding law there was to break. Got outside of Stansted Airport. I've left the car with the keys underneath the wheel in short stay, the closest you could possibly get to. Called my guy. I said, look, that's where the car is. Leave now and come and pick it up because it's not going to be here for much longer if you don't. Run through, no baggage. All I've got is a credit card and my passport. That's all I got.
How much time did you have to spare until the flight took off?
Oh, minutes. Literally minutes.
Yep.
So got there, landed. When I landed, I texted the guy. I'm landing at whatever time it was. It was quite late at night. It was about 10 o'clock. Landing at this time, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He sent a Mercedes-Benz V-Class to come and pick me up with 4 security guards and him. Not the main guy, the translator.
The translator had the security
Just
guards.
me and the translator, a driver and 3 other guys
Okay, yeah.
in this V-Class. No one knows where I am, by the way. Only my assistant. She's the only person who knows where I am. So it sort of hit me. I'm like, God, I could get done in here,
These
I could go missing.
These security guards, did they have any uniform or anything like that?
Just a 3-piece suit, just black suits, ties, straightforward things.
So when the door for that V-Class opened, did you not think, oh shit, what's going on here?
No, I just jumped in. Then I thought, oh shit, what's going on here? So got to the Kopinski Hotel, met the guy, a lovely guy, but to look at, quite an intimidating guy, a big Russian guy, didn't speak English, very flamboyant clothes.
Yep.
And he said, basically, the translator said, Mr. John said, you've had a long flight. Would you like to join him for a few drinks first? So, yeah, I needed a few drinks. So, I could do with a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, sat there and started just having a few drinks. And he said, do you want to come down? It's midnight now. It's midnight. It's early hours of the morning. Do you want to come down and look at the car? So I said, okay. I'll go and look at the car. Cover off the car. There's the car. There it is. Got the books. Got the speed key. Got the spare key. Got every piece of history. It's got everything. The car's perfect. It's there. So he was like, you happy? So I said, yeah, I'm happy. He said, the car's 650. I said, yeah, it's fine. The 650 is fine. Okay, no problem. There's my bank details. So I'm like, what do you want me to do with these? Send me the money.
Yeah.
So, but it's 2 a.m.
How are you going to send 650 grand at 2 in the morning? Yeah.
He said, okay. He said, in the morning at 9:30, I leave to go to Switzerland. Mm-hmm. I need to have the money before then.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, no problem. He gave me the key to the car. The driver and everybody else took all the history, all the books, all the service books, the speed key. They took everything. He also had the ticket to get out the car park.
Okay, yeah.
So as security, he gave me the key.
Yep.
Yeah. But he was holding everything else. So 8 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, got up at 8 because I'm not a lazy bastard. 8 o'clock in the morning with a raging hangover, because after that we all went and just had some more drinks.
Yeah.
So sent him the money. As I sent the money, signed the invoice, shook hands, and now I'm in Vienna in a Veyron, and I don't know where I'm going. Am I driving home? How am I going to get it home? What am I going to do? Where am I going?
Yeah.
I've got no change of clothes. I don't have a toothbrush. 8 hours ago, I was in my office, without any £650,000 better off than what I am now. And I drove back. I drove back from Vienna all the way home.
Was that your first time driving a Veyron?
No. No. I'd had quite a few of them.
But this is the first time driving your Veyron?
Yeah.
What was that drive like coming back from Vienna? Now that you're sitting there, so I want you to picture this moment for me and the audience watching, yeah? You're sitting in the car now, right? 650 grand down, but I'm in the Veyron. Let's go back. So,
it was an achievement for me. It was like a sense of achievement, And I'll never forget my battery ran out on my phone not long after my trip started. Mm-hmm. And there was just me in the car. And the car didn't have a USB because it's 2007.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a cigarette lighter to plug
something else in.
Yeah. So I had no phone. And I never had a phone for about 8 hours. And I was completely me in the car for 8 hours, driving through the Austrian Alps, into Germany, through France, through the French Alps.
Yeah.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. When I got to Calais, I could have turned around and drove back. Like, it's a big, comfortable car. And it was like, you know, when I first thought, because it's stressed now, I've got, you know, a whole day's driving, 24 hours or whatever I've got. Yeah. Oh, it was incredible. The best experiences of my life.
How easy is that car to drive as well?
It's a Bentley.
I can imagine.
It's a Bentley with 2 engines.
Yeah.
And 4 turbos. And that actually is what it is. The reason they call it a W16 is it's 2 Bentley V8s.
Put together, isn't it?
2 V8s make a W.
Yeah.
And 2 8s make 16. It's W16. It's 2 Bentley engines molded together.
Yeah. Yeah, but that must have been an unreal drive coming back home.
Oh, it was incredible.
You ever spoken to that Russian guy since?
No, I've never spoken to him since.
No, never heard.
But I've got pictures in my phone of the night we done the deal in the car park where we done it, shaking hands, having a laugh, having a drink. Because it was a whole experience for me. Yeah. It wasn't about the car. I'm one of these people, and a lot of people are like this. A lot of successful people are like this. They get infatuated with something, and they have to have it. Mm-hmm. Now, what that means is they probably can't afford it at this point, but they're and they have to have it.
Obsessed with the idea of having it.
And then when they get it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about that material thing. It was about the journey.
Leading up to it,
you know? You get some people, and I get asked this all the time. I'll post a new Ferrari for sale, brand new car. Mm-hmm. And it will be a special order. The guy's flown to Italy. He's sat with the Atelier spec people, and he's gone through everything to the stitching, to the steering wheel, to this, and he's upgraded the buttons for the Italian stripe, and he's gone all through it. And the minute the car lands, he sold it to me. And people say, why do that? And his journey wasn't about the car. His journey was to have the whole experience, to go to Ferrari, fly to Italy, walk around the factory, spec up his own car. And then when he's got it, he just doesn't want it. What's he going to do with it? What are you going to do with this car?
Got a car for you.
Exactly. That's what happens.
Yeah. I can imagine that happened a lot then. How do you explain it like that?
Happens a lot. And people say, why sell a car after 500 miles? Why sell a car and it's brand new? Why go through that? Mm-hmm. Because for them, it's not the journey. You get people on the flip side who can't be bothered with the journey. They just want the car. Mm-hmm. So they just want it now. Yeah. They just want it now.
Okay, so I can understand why people flip their cars and why people sell their cars, yeah? You can understand that as well, as you just explained. So do you feel like it's unfair when Ferrari blacklist a customer when they do that?
I believe that if you own something and it's your possession, you should do with it whatever you like.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do with it. Because you can buy a car from me, and you can do with it whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
It's yours. I think it's disgusting when someone determines what you do with your possession. You know?
Yeah, because Ferrari...
I sold you this car, but you can't sell it to nobody.
Can't do nothing, yeah. What if
you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't take it around a track, you can't sell it to nobody. But you've worked your nuts off to buy it.
Yeah.
And you've paid for it, and it's yours.
Well, it's not... You got to basically act like it's not yours.
Well, yeah, of course.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exactly, because you got to be in line like a good boy until the next one comes.
Yeah, which is unreal. Yeah, and I'm saying I don't think that's fair at all. That's what I'd rather buy.
But, that's not down to the companies that determine that. That's down to the person. No one could talk to me like that and tell me what I can and can't do. That's what I want with my own possession.
Yeah, you can, of course. Yeah, that's all.
It's not, it's not their fault. It's the person who's taking the orders. It's his or her fault. Mm-hmm. It's their fault.
Their fault, yeah. Carl, I have to ask you, right? You had a Bugatti Veyron, top speed on that's 252 miles an hour. How have you still got a license?
Because I don't break the speed limit.
No? Not even the time where it's going there to get it?
I used to break the speed limit.
Have you ever, had lost your license or anything like that?
Yeah, I lost my license. I've lost my license a couple of times.
Was it in the Bugatti?
No.
No? Okay, so just off by chance.
I don't even drive. I don't drive fast anymore. I very rarely drive.
Yeah.
I've got a driver, and if I'm going to see a client for business, if I'm going to see a client for business and he lives 3 hours away,
you can do a whole lot of business.
3 hours there and 3 hours back. That's 6 hours. I'm out the office.
Yeah.
And I'm driving. Well, I'm completely worthless that day.
Yeah, because if you got a driver, then you can still continue
Still in
doing
the
the job.
office.
Yeah, you're still in the office. Yeah,
Still in the office.
You can say your office anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't really drive places, and when I do drive, I do get done occasionally on these average speed cameras, like doing 57 in a 50. But that's not speeding.
That's nothing.
That's not speeding. We're on a motorway.
And then they're threatening you with 3 points for that.
It's 12 o'clock at night. I've had a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
I'm 20 miles from home, and I'm doing 57 in a 50 with no other cars around me, and you want to give me 3 points.
Yeah, I know. Dumbness.
So you take my license off me, I have to cut back on staff. People lose their jobs because I was doing 7 miles an hour on a clear road over the speed limit on a motorway.
This is why I like to buy it, because you could be doing 50 miles an hour on the speed limit, and all they'll say is
black points.
Yeah, not even points. They'll just
they give you the option. You have a thing called a black point, or you just pay.
Or you just pay. Yeah. There was speaking of which, there was that funny. I saw a TikTok that I come across. Right, Andrew Tate's Bugatti was out in Dubai, racked up a whole lot of tickets, and some Arabs paid off the whole thing one time.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I was in Dubai in April, and I was talking with a friend who lives there about this kind of thing, and he found it hysterical, the law system in this country, how they're obviously, the road traffic laws, they're out to get as much money as they possibly can.
Of course, 100%.
But they're not giving people the chance to buy their way out of trouble. So what they want to do is they want to take money from people and then take their license from them, so those people can't give them any money anymore.
Yeah.
But that's a silly thing to do.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I do believe if you go over 100 miles an hour, you should lose your license. I do believe that. If you do 20 miles an hour more in a built-up area, you should lose your license. It's dangerous. I don't necessarily think... Speed laws were made in 1960 something or other.
Yep.
Well, if you're driving a car in 1966, a 1966 average car, whatever that would have been in 1966, and you slam your foot on the brakes, I guarantee you, me in an SF90 could stop faster if I'm doing 180 miles an hour.
Jeremy Clarkson did this test on, I think it was on Top Gear or something as well, where he had a heavy Bentley Continental, followed those laws that you just mentioned there, and it was braking a lot less. And then there was a cone representing where, the distance where you should be braking, and it was nowhere near it. Like the laws are completely outdated.
Yeah, they're completely outdated.
Today's technology.
They're completely outdated. The problem is, whatever law you put down, people will try and abuse the law.
Abuse the law. Yeah.
If the speed limit is now 80, people do 90.
Yeah, 90. Yeah.
So where does it stop? It doesn't stop. But what I'm saying is, you have to look at people's circumstances, and I get points for not for doing stupid speeds, for doing like 50. I've had one recently, 57 and a 50.
Yeah, dumbness.
It was at midnight. 57 and a 50. I'm at work all day to pay my staff, and you try to take my license off me.
Yeah.
But over there, he was laughing. He was like, so he opened my eyes about it. He said, we get over here, we get a black point. And by the way, over there, apparently, anyone can take your black point. You can just pass it. You can pass it along.
License, yeah.
Yeah, which is unbelievable, really.
That's what I'm saying. The laws out there are sick. Have you ever, I know this is a random one that me asking late into the podcast, but have you ever thought about opening another like Tom Hartley out in the Middle East? Just to make, I
think what is going to be the next step for us is to possibly open another dealership in another country.
Yeah. Thought about what country?
I haven't, no. I kind of have. Dubai would be great, but, there's so many car dealerships in Dubai.
I was just going to say that, yeah. Along that Sheikh Zayed road.
That boat's gone now.
Yeah.
I look at countries like Spain. I love Spain. It's not a long haul away. It's 2 hours. And no one, I spend a lot of time in Marbella, and there is no one does what we do there. Nobody.
But is that for a reason, or is that because no one's just done it? Like, when I say reason, I mean, can people afford these cars there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Everyone's got one of these cars there. The problem is they have to go to me in England to buy it.
Well, then this is over.
you know, I was over there recently, and there's a Koenigsegg dealership. I'm not sure if it's an authorized Koenigsegg dealership, but they've got Koenigsegg above the window, literally outside of Porto Banús. It holds about 4 cars. And the last time I went there, they had a Koenigsegg Regera. They had an Aston Martin V12 Zagato.
Yep.
And they had, I think they could have had an Aston Martin Valkyrie. Not a Valkyrie, what's the track one called?
That is Valkyrie.
No, not the new one. Do the one with the long bonnet that's only track focused. Sure, it begins with a V. Oh no, it is a Valkyrie. It's a Valkyrie.
Oh, you talk about the one that partnered with Red Bull, right?
No, the one before that.
Vulcan.
Yeah. Sorry, my mind went blank. They're Vulcan in there, and I've seen these 3 cars in that dealership for the last 2 years, and I've never seen the lights on in the dealership or anybody even sitting in there. They're just there. Someone could walk past and think, I want to buy that Koenigsegg. It's closed. It's just sitting there.
Just sitting there, yeah.
I can't get my head around it. It's madness. But, you know, there's dealerships in Spain. Salamanca's a well-known Ferrari dealership. But no one out there does what we do. The problem is I don't speak Spanish.
Got to learn.
You got to learn.
Or, you know, hire people who, you know, speak Spanish and English.
But those people, they're not me.
True. Very good point.
So, you know.
But arguably, do you think you could train staff to be you?
No.
No? Why not?
Oh, because I don't think you can train anybody to be somebody.
No, but you could train someone to have the same sales techniques and strategy as you, no?
No. You can give someone the best advice they could possibly have. But why would I work for anybody? So if I train someone to be me, he's not going to work for me.
He's going to set up his own business.
Exactly. So, you know, there's that line there, isn't there? There's a fine line where you have very good staff that are not quite good enough to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to round this podcast up by asking you this. Have you got any advice to your younger self, to the younger Carl Hartley? Actually, not. One better. Forget that question. When your kids watch this, maybe in a few years' time, as they see the world more and understand things more, what's the message you'd like to leave them with?
You hear all the time people talk about patience. You know, be patient. Good things come to those who wait. Well, I don't believe in that. I believe in go and kick the door down. And if the door, you know, if that door won't kick over, go and find a door that does. You know, just go and get it. Go and get it and have a go. Go and have a go. Everyone can dream about, I want to do this one day. Well, it will always ever be a dream if you don't give it a go. Don't be scared to fail.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to fail. I fail every week on something, one thing or another. But it just the next week I won't make the same failure, so it will prevent me from doing it again. Don't be scared to fail and just go and get it. It's not going to come to you. Success doesn't come to you. You have to go and get it.
You have to go get it. I think that's a powerful message to end on. So, Carl, I want to thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Finally, it's a pleasure to be here. I definitely need to sort of walk around the dealership.
Yeah, we'll go do that now. And if anyone wants to follow my social media page, it's Carl Hartley 1 on Instagram. We also have my dad's Instagram page is Tom Hartley Cars. You can see all our stock on tomhartley.com. Keep following. Hope you enjoy.
Follow it all up. Links are going to be in the description. If you listen to this Apple Podcast and Spotify, make sure you go on Instagram, leave Carl a nice message. And until then, I'll catch you lot on the next episode of CEOCAST. Peace.
Don't troll me.
Do exactly that.